running there. Obviously,
there's so many permutations.
You'd expect them to beat London away, and you'd expect them to beat Featherstone at home, but you expected them to beat Lee, or at least not drop the ball quite so many times.
Yeah, you'd want Salford's running rather than Huddersfield's, wouldn't you?
And
by every conceivable measure.
If I was calling it now, I probably would just about go with Salford. Huddersfield will get another 2 points, and their points difference is actually quite good, and I don't think Salford are playing with enough confidence to bash on the points in the first couple of those games. So I think Huddersfield will finish third on 8 points, but better points difference than Salford.
Right.
I think Salford will finish fourth and will host Hull KR in the £1 million game.
There you go.
That's my call. I don't think Hull KR will win 2 more games.
And actually, if Hull KR go down the other side...
Which is saying a lot, considering they've got 2 championship sides coming up. But
if Hull KR were to go down, they're better equipped than Salford to survive, you would say. Or I would say.
I think there's probably more there's less wealth at the top, but there's more maturity and stability.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And probably slightly better fan base in terms of people coming in and watching the club as well. But
I think for Hull KR, a big thing will be the London game this week.
Yeah,
away.
Massive, absolutely massive. Into the lower echelons then, Championship Shield, Sheffield consigned Workington to relegation with a 62-0 victory over the Cumbrians.
Workington, I don't even think could put out a full bench on this one. I think
really,
woeful times.
Whitehaven still in with a fighting chance though, as they came away from an away trip to Dewsbury with a 56-12 victory. Bradford...
You had written them off in the week. I'd started to do the rundown without putting their game against Oldham as the game of the week.
There you go. Bradford were 46 points to 28 winners over Swinton, maintaining their unbeaten run in the Championship Shield, and Halifax beat Oldham by 32 points to 18 mark.
Yeah, Haven keep their hopes alive, but Town are down. Sheffield booked their place in the playoffs with 2 rounds left, but both Swinton and Oldham could overtake the Rams still.
There you go. Into the League One Super 8, then it was a close one at the South Leeds Stadium. Hunslet RLFC defeated 12 points to 16 by Toulouse. Rochdale were 38 points to 22 winners over Doncaster, and York beat the London Scholars 30 points to 4. Barrow Raiders got a 26 points to 18 victory at home over Keighley.
Yeah, the race for the second spot and 2 chances of promotion is going to the last round, with Barrow and Rochdale both on 31 points. The kicker there is Barrow face Toulouse. Doncaster don't have a playoff spot booked yet officially, but points difference means they're as good as in as well. So it will be Toulouse against Rochdale or Barrow. Then it will be Rochdale, York and Doncaster making up that 5.
There you go. Okay, and into the League One Shield then. North Wales beat Gloucestershire 16 points to 4. Newcastle were 46 points to 10 winners over Coventry even, and it was the South Wales Scorpions 8, Hemel Stags 16.
Yeah, North Wales seal the second Shield's final spot and will face the Newcastle Thunder. The only real point of interest next week is who finishes 4th, Allgolds or Oxford, and who finishes bottom, South Wales or Hemel, because Hemel have joined South Wales on 4 points now, but have a vastly inferior points difference at this stage.
There you go, so they have to rack up a cricket score, you would think.
Well, to be honest, there's not much to talk about for the Shield for next week, if I'm honest, which is, unfortunate. Credit to all those clubs for the seasons they've had, and a few of them have got a week left to play, but
come back stronger next year.
Yeah.
Into the NRL then, final round of regular season play. So the Brisbane Broncos defeat the Sydney Roosters by 24 points to 14 mark. We've had some feedback on some of these games.
Yeah, well, Cole got in touch.
Got right into the NRL this week, hasn't he?
Said Broncos looked poor in the first 20, but seemed to wake up after that and were the better team for the rest of the game. Good to watch NRL for once, thanks to Premier Sport putting games on Freeview. Yeah.
Speaking of Premier Sport and offers, you can watch the entire final series for £1.
Wow.
So it might be worth looking into if you're interested in that. The Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs were defeated 10 points to 28 by the South Sydney Rabbitohs.
Yeah, things seem to really start mattering for the Rabbitohs when they really didn't matter. Because they've won like four or five in a row, and they've actually been in good nick in the games leading up into that as well that they were losing. So James Graham for the Bulldogs, 130 metres, but not enough for him as his side continue to fall. Their attack is as good as Wigan's and Saints at the moment, and they're they've just been worked out basically. It feels like at the moment, and I don't see much future for them in the playoffs unless they have a rousing week of coming up with new ideas. For the Rabbitohs, though, Joe Burgess with 2 tries, 179 metres. Sam Burgess with a try and 112 metres. Tom Burgess 173 metres. He now is in the England squad as far as I'm concerned, the way he's ended the season.
Yep.
George Burgess, he played as well. He's not in the England squad for me at the rate he's going, even though he is an exceptional player. He's not showing it at all in the back end of this year after coming back from injury.
There we go, and we got some feedback on this one.
Cole said a flurry of late tries from Gray and Burgess. Joe made the scoreline look flatter into the Rabbitohs. Sam Burgess got a bit fiery a couple of times, squaring up with Graham at one point.
Yeah, they had a bit of a roll in the hay together, didn't they?
Graham had Sam came in on a tackle that was pretty much complete, but it wasn't held yet, and it was a rough tackle, but it wasn't illegal. It was around the hips. It was, hard, but whatever. Graham didn't like it, swung a leg out. Sam didn't like that, kind of came back in on Graham. Didn't actually throw a punch at his head, but sort of tackled him as if he was punching him on like the shoulder and the arm. Lee Whitnall as well. Joe Burgess has finished the NRL season looking strong. I'd like to see him back there in a few years. I think he'd smash it.
There you go.
I wanted to look up his figures actually. I might do that for next week just to mention. To see how he's turned it around at the Rabbits, because he didn't get much of a look in at the
No, he had time as a resistance, didn't he? But
even though he scored twice on his debut.
To give him credit, he has done better at the Rabbitohs. The St George Illawarra Dragons narrowly defeated the Newcastle Knights 28 points to 26 mark.
Yeah, and in his final game for the Dragons, Cooper had 137 metres. Widdop played as well. This was the game, obviously most known though, for featuring the trial of Captain's Call. And the video refereeing system. So instead of the ref making a live call and that having to be proved or disproved by the bunker, the ref would just give his decision, and I think the captains had 20 seconds maybe to say whether they wanted to challenge that decision. I've not watched this game because I didn't really give a shit about the Knights or the Dragons at this stage of the year.
The sort of game you trial.
The only reason to watch it would be for the captain's call thing.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing was you'd get one each half, but then you'd also get an extra one in the last 5 minutes of the game. I like that.
If you make a captain's call and it's proven to be correct, do you retain it then?
Did you watch any of the hockey in the Olympics?
Yes.
So the hockey had the captain's call system where there was you get one go to get it wrong. But if you get it right, you keep it indefinitely. And that's how this system would work.
Is that not similar to the challenges in NFL as well?
Sort of, but you get 2 in the NFL, and if you get them both, if you
sorry, I've driven you.
Basically, you don't lose any,
right? If
you keep getting it right, but you can't just keep them forever.
Okay,
you get 2, but if you get them, but if you don't get any wrong, you get to keep going. Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm with you. So it was Cowboys 32, Titans 16. Melbourne Storm defeated my Cronulla Sharks by 26 points to 6.
Well, on the Cowboys, it was unfortunate for the Titans who needed to win this game. They would have felt to stay in the 8. Yeah. They came up against a Cowboys team that have decided to start playing finals football.
Yes.
For the first time probably since State of Origin, they really had the game together.
Yeah.
So the Titans just were miles off shape, and then the Storm. I mean, their defence is machine-like, and their attack is good enough because of the players they've got.
Yeah.
Blake Green was pretty decent in this game. If he's rolling out before he moves off to Manly. So they've had it on both sides this year, much more than they've had in the year that Widdop wasn't there, sort of thing.
Yep, and the Sharks' mini implosion continues.
Colin Render got in touch. He said Melbourne were too strong for Cronulla. They gave them hardly anything and took their chances when they needed to.
Okay, it was West Tigers 10, Canberra Raiders 52.
Yeah, the Titans needn't have worried because the Tigers didn't turn up.
Yeah.
This was like the Tigers playing an end of season game when there was nothing on the line. Almost, it was overshadowed by the statement about Robbie Farah, and they brought him out on the pitch at half time, and then they made a big fuss of Dean Hallertau instead, didn't they, for the build up and all that, because he was actually playing and not been a total prick to the coach for the last 2 years. But the Tigers, outside of that, I don't know, it just wasn't inspired, wasn't good enough. They couldn't get over not having their best team on the field, and it's almost like the way they celebrated last week when they beat the Warriors was meaningless because they didn't even how they turn up. But on the flip side of that, the Raiders were fantastic.
Yeah,
they scored some beautiful tries. The Joey Leilua back round the back
to Rapana
offload. But Hodgson set up. Hodgson was heavily involved again. He was the player they took off to wrap up in cotton wool. There's a question mark, and I've not seen the charge sheet yet for the NRL. I've not looked into that yet. But over Jack Whiten at fullback. But if the Techno Viking comes back, I suppose he'll play fullback for the game that Whiten will be banned if he has to be banned next week. We'll see. But this was a great win for Cronulla. Hodgson with a try, 2 try assists, Whitehead with a try assist and 103 metres. Did you see as well, Sia Soliola's ended up on the wing.
Hey.
Because
that's nosebleed territory for Sia.
Because Rapana went off.
Right.
And he ended up sort of out on the wing. I'm not sure if he was playing wing or just ended up there. But he ended up on the wing and put this kick through back inside.
Right.
For I can't remember who scored the try in the end. But great stuff.
Good lad. See you, Soliola. Look at
I think it was Williams actually who scored the try in the end. Rumoured to be
Wakefield bound. Yeah. Okay. New Zealand Warriors were defeated at home 18 points to 40 by Parramatta Eels.
And it was like the Warriors wanted the Eels to win this game. They must have had some bets on or something because they had a cracking start and then literally handed 2 tries to the Eels, and then I didn't see the second half because I came to pick you up for the run.
Well, there you go.
But yeah, Colin Render got in touch. He said fairly even first half, but the Eels too strong in the second half. Thomas Luluai's last game for the Warriors, heading back to Wigan next year. Still got something to offer with the right players around him.
There you go. And the final game of the round saw the Penrith Panthers defeat the Manly Sea Eagles by 36 points to 6.
Yeah, and Zach Hardacre made 94 metres in this, coming from the bench. That's a pretty decent effort.
Yes.
Did you see the story about Hardacre? Basically, at the moment, as far as he's concerned, he'll be coming back to Super League because no one's made any offers for him in the NRL.
Yeah.
But doesn't think it'll be at Leeds. Thinks he needs a fresh challenge.
There you go.
Landing spots talked about, rumoured, whatever, bandied about at places like Hull KR because of the Peacock link.
Possibly so, but if Hull KR are in the Championship, that's going to fall apart.
And Catalan, because obviously I think they probably want a fullback.
Yeah.
Because they've shown to lack depth in the centres anyway, when Dupont or Inu have been injured. Inu's hair, by the way, people had to go at Sam Tompkins' hair. Lewis Turney deserves the same because it's exactly the same as Sam Tompkins. But Inu's was a cut above, weren't it?
Yeah.
But
it's a good do.
But that aside, that's it. So I don't know. So in Super League, landing spots for Hardacre.
Catalan seems more like the better fit since Escaro's probably out the door, and you would think that they want to put Gigo back into the centres. Or
Huddersfield for me is the obvious landing spot. They're the ones who need a fullback, but the strong talk is Rick Stearns bringing Jake Mamo over from Newcastle Knights, along with Tyler Randall, who'll play at hooker because they haven't got a hooker really.
Apart from Hinchcliffe.
Well, Hinchcliffe's not a hooker. He's played there, but he's not a hooker.
Yeah.
Cruz Leeming's good, but he's not.
No,
you can't go in with
your
main line hooker. And Kyle Wood for me is neither out nor anything. I don't really.
Neither out.
I just think he's an average.
Yeah.
He's an average bottom end of the Super League table player for me on a full season basis.
Yeah.
So I think those two players actually address their needs. But Hardacre will be a better signing than Mamo. But if he's looking for an NRL gig, Newcastle's the place where I think they need him most.
Yeah.
Secondary to that would be well, I suppose Manly are happy with Tommy Turbo. The Titans have sorted theirs out now, obviously, and it looks like French is kind of the answer at the Eels.
Big thing, isn't he? Yeah.
So I think the Knights is the only real definite landing spot, unless Souths want to put Inglis back into the centres and need a new fullback themselves, because I don't think they've got quite an answer. Johnson is not a fullback.
Fancy the Knights if it was Zach Hardacre.
Hardacre landing points, people, get him in.
Yeah, let us know where you want to see him playing. Right, that's the world of rugby league.
The Storm take the minor premiership, and the Titans hold on to their playoffs.
I'm not even giving you that as an interruption because that's just me not following the rundown properly. That doesn't count. But yeah, congratulations to the Melbourne Storm. Right, that's the world of rugby league well and truly covered. Let's take a look into the future as we bring you our predictions for round 5 of the Super 8s. Right, round 5 of the Super 8s then, Mark. St Helens take on Castleford in the first game of the weekend on Thursday night. I sniff a Castleford Tigers victory on this one. They love to score points and they don't mind conceding, and they back themselves in attack. And St Helens are faltering at best, even